T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The Lotus Jawns, going through the journey strong. Life's a hustle and a bustle. We'll be with you all along. The Lotus Jawns, yeah, sometimes we get it wrong. That's the beauty and a lesson. Keep it going, you belong. So you are a powerful Jawn. You are a powerful Jawn.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, Jawns. Peace, Jawns out there.
Welcome back to our live.
Yes. It's nice
All
to
right.
see you guys. You look great.
Yeah, you guys are great too.
Yes. So
All right, so today on our live, we're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff. Usually on our lives, we try to talk more about like topics that are happening now.
Yes.
So we'll be
The
touching on
current
a couple
stuff.
of things that are happening right now in our world. But in usual Lotus Jawns fashion, you know, we like to start off with our affirmation.
yes.
So let's
Right.
take a nice deep breath.
My journey to adulthood has been paved with lessons.
My every scar holds beauty and growth.
I'm evolving towards my perfected self.
I am
a
a powerful Jawn. Woo.
All right,
All right,
now
powerful
we
Jawn.
set the scene with that.
Yes.
So if you haven't been to one of our shows, we kind of break it down in segments now. So our first segment is catch up on everything.
Catch up on everything.
This is when us Jawns, we kind of just catch you up on what's going on. And today we're going to talk about the popular topic, the election. What's going on with that? You know, hopefully we all got out the vote. If you didn't vote, you know, that's your choice or whatever. But we're going to talk about the election. It's been kind of crazy. It's been a lot of celebrating, a lot of anger, a lot of just all types of emotions floating around. So us Jawns just want to talk about how we've been, you know, affected by it all.
Yeah, there was a whole parade that happened in Philadelphia. I'm not sure
Right.
how many of our viewers are actually from Philly, but it was like I worked downtown, and it literally like there was a whole jump and shout meeting that turned into a whole march down towards South Philly. It was pretty lively, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely
Like,
took
hasn't
part
happened
Part in the
since, like,
parade.
you know, like when Barack won, it was a parade. Like people was leaving their houses. It was as if it was the 4th of July. So to see something like that happen again, it was a little weird.
Yeah.
You know, like, is it that every time, you know, there's a potential Democratic win that we're having a parade, or was it just everybody was really, really excited, you know, and it's like, yes, jump out in the streets, let's party. For myself, I kind of feel like, no, just reflecting on the fact that, you know, there's mail-in ballots that probably haven't been counted. I feel like maybe the excitement is almost too soon. It's like, wait a minute. You know, are you sure that they didn't like accidentally forget to count, you know, 500,000 boxes of, you know, ballots?
Right.
Right.
I don't know. My neighborhood was kind of the same way. I live near Clark Park, and it was definitely full to fill. I mean, for it to be a pandemic and for us to supposed to be following specific protocol on social distancing and like to keep everybody safe and healthy, people were definitely out there, and they were expressing how they felt about the result of the election. So, with that being said, I mean, Joe Biden is supposed to be our next president, but I know they're still doing recounts in some states. We're one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what is it, Georgia? And probably I don't know if they're actually at this point counting in others as well, but I think it's safe to say that they got it. They have it. Like that's it. He's the president. I don't know.
With Bush and Al Gore.
Yeah, because they recounted with them, and then Bush won.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know, y'all. I don't know,
but I mean, I definitely was out there. I necessarily, I do feel a little relief, but not really. I feel like a different type of stress with Biden possibly coming into the office. But I would like to say that I was like overwhelmed with joy by how happy everybody was, even though it may be like false happiness in a weird way. Like I think it's just going to be some new BS with our new president, but it was nice to be with the community and like celebrating and like just happy that somebody who represents so much racism is out of the office. But yeah, my group that I'm in, World Town, we started at like, I don't know if you're from Philly, you would know what these streets are, but we started from 6th and Girard with our mobile funk unit. And it's basically just like a DJ booth on wheels with a loudspeaker. And we started with like drums and instruments at 6th and Girard. And then we walked through Center City, through the neighborhood, all the way up to the art museum. And by the end, we had about like 300 to 400 people following us. So it was kind of cool. I try to keep my distance as much as possible, and I wore my mask. But it was crazy. But it was also really cool to be a part of something like that because I know that's not going to happen that often. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I did my part. I got out and voted. And we'll just see what happens from here, honestly.
Right. This election just seemed so intense. I don't know if it was just me. It just seemed like so intense. I mean, even the kids, I mean, we talk about it, but they're young. My kids are young. I don't know what other people do, but I mean, they talked about it some in school, like the week of, or like, like the Friday before. But it was down to the point, even my youngest son can't read, and he saw a little helicopter go by. He's like, vote, make a plan. I was like, yo, they were really pushing it this year. Not that we shouldn't vote, not that we shouldn't make a plan. I don't know. It was kind of like, it started to seem like that's all they wanted me to think about, but it was intense. I felt like all the way up until the night of, and it just seemed like it kept going on and on, and it's still going.
And they're still texting us too, like, thanks for your vote. Now here's a way to protect your vote. I'm like, come on, with these text messages, y'all.
Right, kind of deep. But I feel like all the way up until the election, they were really, really, really trying to get people's momentum up. The amount of text messages, like snail mail, actual mail, flyers in my door, it was like, wow. So to see like the outpouring after the election of like, I guess it was effective.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it was like record turnouts this time.
Right.
So yeah, so I mean, I guess people did a good job by coming out. We got a lot of people out, but I don't know, it's kind of crazy. But I guess to like move along, that's kind of what Lotus Jawns been up. That's like what's going on in our community. People are like celebrating and pretty hype. Pennsylvania is blue, so we were pretty excited about that. But we're going to move along because we can talk about the election all day. We're not going to get carried away with that.
Right.
We're going to move along to the Lotus Pad. And today on the Lotus Pad, we're going to be talking about, and I thought this topic was really cool. We're going to be talking about things we would tell our younger selves, things that we learned in our 30s, like what we would tell you know, our 20-year-old self, our teenage self. So let's get into that, Johns. What will you tell your younger self today, being a 30-some-odd-year-old lady?
Honestly, I feel like if I could go back and tell myself one thing to kind of guide like some of the choices I made there weren't so you know, the best, I would say I would really like look myself into the eyes and say, listen, you can plan your life out. Stuff may not go according to plan, but you really do have the power to tailor it the way you want to. I kind of feel like, I don't know for you guys, but I feel like I've been trying to get married, have a baby, own a house since I was like 7. I was like, that's it. That's what I have to do, all those things in order and get an education and, you know, make all this money, and then my life will be perfect. I mean, here later, I have a family, I have children, and, you know, life is okay, but I really wish I would have spent some more time actually not focusing so much on that. And I just kind of wish that I could go back and tell myself, like, even though that's the narrative that they push, it's like, you know, they being whoever, you know, I feel like I saw that a lot in movies and in stories I read, and that's what I always thought it had to be like, and it didn't necessarily have to be that way. I feel like I was trying to force myself to fit into something that's not even me. Like, I do, you know, want to have a family and things like that, and you know, be successful in my career and, you know, like self-fulfilled, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. I wish I would have spent a little more time, you know, like developing myself a little bit more and kind of trying to figure out what exactly it is that I wanted. I feel like I kind of rushed into what I thought I was supposed to be doing, and now I'm not even as comfortable as I feel like I could be in my life, if that makes any sense. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do. I get what you're saying. I feel like the princess narrative, get married and have kids, is definitely something that I feel like if I could go back in time and tell myself that, you know, it's okay if that didn't work out, I probably would say something similar. I realize when I reflect back on my 20s, I spent just about all of my 20s in school. Like, the beginning of the 20s, I had flunked out of school. Then I had like re-enrolled in school. I was in nursing school. I went back to nursing school while I was in my 20s. But some of the most difficult things during that time frame of juggling school, life, relationships, etc., was also dealing with like my obligations and responsibilities with family. You know, because I feel like when I did falter in school, there were many moments when I was like, am I ever going to successfully attain my career as a nurse? Because it was like I hit rock bottom dealing with like people, love, and situations. And I think if I could go back and talk to myself, I would be like, you know, just like you, maybe as much as you love people, you know, pour a little bit of that energy back into yourself.
Into yourself, yeah. I feel you on that.
And don't give all your money away. Because when I think about it, the amount of money that I poured into relationships and situations and family, if I had saved it, invested it in myself, you know, I could have bought a house probably 3 times. And then I would have actually probably been in a better position to be of more help to those who I love if I had invested in myself first. So I think I would probably tell my younger self that invest in you so that you can have more in your cup to pour in the cup of others.
That's cool. Yeah, I definitely feel like investing in yourself. I feel like I don't know, like my younger self, I feel like I would have told my younger self to be more intuitive, because I feel like a lot of the mistakes I made was like following what other people thought I should do or what I thought other people thought I should do. I feel like now that I'm an adult, it's a little easier for me to make decisions on my own. But I feel like back then, I never asked myself what I wanted to do. I always asked everybody else. And even though now I still do get opinions from my friends and my family and loved ones, I do know now in my heart that the decision lies in me. I make the final decision. And I think before, back in the day, I relied on other people to make decisions for me. And that's something that I would have told my younger self, like, sit down with yourself, ask yourself those intense, hard questions, and figure it out on your own, because nobody knows what you need more than you. So I think that's where a lot of my mistakes came in, was just not listening to myself, not really going with what I knew was right, just going with what everybody else was doing. So
Right.
that's some
I
tips I
feel
would give
you
my
on
younger
that.
self. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But
I
yeah,
feel
I mean, with all our lessons we had, I feel like we all turned out all right. We're all right.
Still growing. Still growing.
definitely still growth here.
Yeah, definitely, always. So, talking about us growing, we're going to go into our segment of adulting.
Adulting.
Adulting Jones. So, this one is kind of like, some of you may participate in this, some of you might not, some of you might want to participate in this. But us Jones, we wanted to talk about like car maintenance, like what it's like to have a car in your life as an adult. Sometimes it could be very helpful, and sometimes it could be a little like extra stuff you got to do. So, how do y'all Jones deal with car maintenance? If you drive, if you don't drive, or
Oh, that's easy. I'm spoiled, so I just asked that guy. Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome. I feel
I
like
know I'm supposed to be a little. I feel like a little more involved. I feel like, like my car or the van that I had is down, and I am, thinking about. I'm still deciding between whether or not I'm going to get rid of it or fix it up. But it's leaning more towards the just fix the minor issues and keep it. And with that, I have to be a little more involved. So I don't know quite yet all the ins and outs of it, but I feel like I'm gonna soon know. Like, I know there's maintenance that has to be done. You need to change the oil, but I just tell that guy. He just goes and changes the oil.
nice.
But yeah, that's about it. I mean, I know going forward I'm gonna have to be a little more conscious about what I'm supposed to be doing to keep it up. So I won't just burst into flames one day while I'm driving down the road with the kids in the back. But yeah, I've been kind of spoiled in a way. So you guys have to tell me. And all the other younger sister Jones who are out there, like, I don't know.
I feel like I've had my experience with cars. I had 3 cars. I'm on my 4th car. And I got my license as soon as I was able to. I got a car as soon as I was able to.
Right.
And over the years, I've learned that if you don't put work into your car, it's not going to last you that long. And I kind of peace-ish.
Hey York.
I had like a little hoopty John when I first got a car. Then I got a hoopty Subaru that I went to a bunch of festivals with. Didn't really put a lot of work into it. And then me and my husband got a car, and this is
we're live right now, Mom.
Yes, we're live. That's my mom, Nicole. Hi, Mom. I feel like with my car, I got with my husband. That's kind of when I realized that, like, if you do the maintenance every couple of months and you get the oil change, you pump the tires up, and you do all that, it'll be a nice working car, and you can take road trips and stuff like that on it without having to have that fear of it breaking down. And
right.
With my car that I have now, it's kind of like, I guess, an upscale hoopty. Is a pretty good car. It's a Subaru, but it's old.
Yeah,
and I put my little work that I had to into it. I try to keep it clean. I take all the trash out of it and stuff like that. And I get stuff changed when it needs to. I haven't had it that long, but it's a lot of work having a car. It's a lot of extra. You always got to have gas money because how you gonna get around? And I am grateful for having it though, because it's a lot of gigs that I can accept. But I do know people who don't like driving. They think that having a car is not that necessary, especially when you live in a city. But I am a city girl, but I do see the pluses of having a car, and I am grateful that I have one. But I do enjoy the times that I don't have one, because there's a lot of responsibilities you don't have to worry about. But, weighing it out, I like having a car better. So
my journey to car ownership was like a very interesting tale. Unlike you, Files, there's like a very short list of drivers in my family, and I was like, I wanted to drive. Nobody was going to teach me how to drive at 16. Nobody was going to show me the steps. Like, okay, this is where you go to go get your driver's license, permit, etc. That wasn't happening. So I remember like applying for my first nursing job, or like my first real nursing job, and like they asked me during the interview, like, can you get to work at 5 a.m. without difficulty? And at this point, I had a bus pass, and I was like, yeah, sure. And they're like, well, we would be traveling on the highway. How will you make it work? And I was like, yeah, I'll figure it out. At that point, before having my driver's license, I was catching like 3 buses, no lie, to get to work. And I had to be at work at 5 a.m. I was getting to work at 4:30 before I could actually get in, or like at 4 a.m. really before I could even get in the building. And I went and got my learner's permit by myself, paid somebody to teach me how to drive, and I used my first paycheck from that job to put as a down payment on my car. And the first time I actually drove it to work was like the first time I had to drive on the highway. So like I did all of that literally like in one clean swoop. The things that I've learned as a young woman and as a young adult, as far as that was like my first major large purchase for myself. And having a car is like having a baby. It's like having the most expensive responsibility that you can have. If you don't treat your car right, it will not treat you right. I learned from having my first car. I miss Triple Darkness. I really do. It was an all black Cadillac, a 05. And I remember like having a flat tire, absolutely not knowing what to do. I remember not knowing where the oil goes, where you need an oil change. I remember I was driving home one day, and like my first all happened with that car. My first snowstorm where I was at work, and I had to figure out how to get the car out of the parking lot and get back home. Learning how like not to fishtail in the rain, snow, sleet, and hail. I learned. Having OnStar was an amazing feature that I learned was a requirement. Because I was like all the way a girl. I realized that there were some things and some skills that I really needed to learn, and changing a tire wasn't one that somebody could walk me through the steps of. But I remember my brake line went out on that car. It was like everything that could have possibly happened. I'm glad that I went through the experience. I also I wound up buying a second car. So it was a point when I had 2 cars, 2 very old cars, and I learned the lesson in finance and responsibilities of having a credit card through that same experience. Because having 2 old cars that potentially break down, you swipe your credit card to fix one, and then swipe your credit card to fix the other without a plan on how you're gonna pay it off. You're gonna max out your credit cards and have 2 broken cards. So it was like definitely a lesson in financial responsibility and in a major responsibility of owning a car. I tossed both of them to the wind and like upgraded, and now looking at it from a car payment standpoint to owning something outright, I appreciate both ends of it. But I realized that like youth files, it's like, is the expenditure worth the convenience? And for me it is. I still don't like to buy the car, but I realized that the important buttons that I have to have as a requirements, like the heated seats are great, heated steering wheel is cool. If it's got the blinky lights, that's fine. But the main button that I need is OnStar. OnStar.
OnStar is like roadside assistance, right?
Yeah. And I need that as a secondary on my insurance. Like, can I call my insurance company and then they send somebody out to help? Because
that's pretty important to have. When I first got my first car, my grandpa let me use his AAA. Like as soon as I got the car, he got me AAA, and it came in handy a couple times because I got in an accident on the highway one time, and that came in handy. I got my car towed, so it was cool. And it having a car showed me that it's important to check your mail. It's important to like stay on top of your paperwork. Because I remember with my second car, my old Subaru, I had a Subaru wagon, a 91, and I think my mom had sent me she reminded me something about the registration. And I was just like, whatever. I think she sent it to me in a mail or something. And I was supposed to do something with it. And I never did. And then I got pulled over by a cop and he was like, your car isn't registered. And he took my car. He took it. He just took it. And then I didn't have enough money to get it out of the what do you call it? The pit or wherever they put the cars when they tow them. And that was the end of my card. That was the end of it, just because I didn't register it. So it taught me to kind of be like more on top of handling my business, honestly, because you can't be driving around like that. You know what I mean? So it is like a level of responsibility. Having a car teaches you, and especially how to invest your money properly, getting something that's going to last you for a minute. But yeah, so I hope y'all Johns out there got a little bit of info on like what it's like having a car and knowing about it and stuff like that. But we're gonna move into our next segment, which is called Feeling Myself.
Feeling myself.
All right.
I think this is my favorite part. My favorite segment.
I like Feeling Myself too. This is a segment where us Johns talk about like it's kind of like a maintenance check-in, like what we've been doing, how we've been taking care of ourselves over these past couple of days. Like, you know, you saw us 2 weeks ago. So kind of like what we've been doing for the past 2 weeks. So I guess I'll start. I guess over the past 2 weeks, I mean, I just started working again. Like over the pandemic, my jobs have been kind of fluctuating with everything happening, but I started working again. And I realized that I just wanted to reset my whole house. Like just kind of get my space together, because I know now that I'm not in the house like that, I don't have time to just clean up every day. And like, I kind of just reset my space so that when I come home from work, it doesn't take me that long to get everything together and kind of settle down, and just getting back into my routines of, you know, like my morning routine, my night routine, like just kind of taking care of myself a little bit better, because I know my schedule is getting a little more hectic and I could kind of like put stuff on a back burner. But that's pretty much what I've been doing to take care of myself, just resetting my space, making sure it smells nice and looks cute, pretty much.
Yeah. So I think the last time when we got to the last live when we did this segment, I was talking about maybe purchasing that the phototherapy light. I actually haven't done it. I did some research and I wasn't sure if it was going to fit me or not, but I did get to get someone to help me do the painting in my house, and I feel like it's not done yet. I mean, it's in the process, right? You know, like he's completing it right now, but like even though it's only some of the paint up, and I kind of like I can better see a vision of like how I'm going to fix the space up. I'm starting to feel better already. Like I feel like we're moving into our second wave of COVID lockdown. I'm like, I know, like you said, like things are starting to get. I don't know about you, but last time we talked about, we were in this segment, I was talking about being flexible and things like that. All right, I know I can't be flexible the whole time, because then we're just gonna be off schedule. That now we're moving into being off schedule. So like you said, I'm trying to reset my whole family's like, you know, schedule, our normal whatever. But part of that was we had to like clean up our space. Like our walls needed paint. We just need a refresher. We're spending so much time in there now, and that's what I've been doing to like kind of keep me from climbing the walls or going crazy. That, and last week I went on one of my, you know, my mom walks. You know, I like to take my walks. And I walked right into the nail salon. There was nobody in there but the people who worked there. And I walked right in. And they welcomed me with open arms.
Get a close up. I see.
I mean, it's growing pretty fast.
I put my Johns on too.
Look at you. Yeah, I walked in. It was maybe like, I think when I got in there, maybe one person in the back. I didn't even see her. But I looked and I said, oh, it's just meant to be. Why not? I was actually having a day where I did need a little extra time to decompress. I walked right on in and took my mom time, okay? I came back. The kids loved me. They missed me. Absence made their hearts grow fonder. They listened for about 5 minutes. And it was time for another walk. But, you know, that's what I've been doing. I hope that all the other moms out there have been able to like carve out some time for themselves. It doesn't necessarily have to be going to the nail salon or whatever, but just finding one little thing that makes you feel good and doing it whenever you need to, you know, like, or scheduling it. Because I know right now I can assume still that like finding childcare while you're working from home, or they're doing virtual school, or you're out and they need to do virtual school, is already taxing enough. But I'm hoping that they can carve out some time for themselves.
Yeah.
What you been up to, Leek? who is on this live? I want to know where the people are. What are y'all doing? Is
I
anybody?
gotta charge myself.
Mom, Nicole Chandler,
Nice.
what have you been doing for self-care? Can you share any things with us? I wonder if she's still on here.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can show you what I've done for self-care. Hold on.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice.
the bowls.
Yeah, these are my 2 new self-care tools.
Those are nice.
Right. So what's notes?
Yeah.
What note is that one and what note is that one?
So this one is note D.
Okay.
And this one is note B. This one is the, I don't want to tell a lie. This one is the root chakra. This one is the sacral chakra. I might be saying it wrong, so I'm going to look it up and then tell you for sure. But I did purchase these 2 bowls this week.
Doesn't it come with
They're pretty. I have one like that,
Why?
but mine is small. It's like a what do you call it? Steel or metal or something?
Yes. I'm not sure if you can feel this gong from where you are, but are you ready? Ready?
Let's see.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes. Okay.
We're gonna have to close out our affirmation with that, John.
Yes.
This is one of
So
each
you
one
have
of them.
now, what's that? Your second and third, or third and fourth?
This one's
So I know you have a collection.
This is my second and third. My other one is an actual crystal sample in note of C.
Nice.
So dope. Thanks for
Nice.
showing that.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, I've also been as far as self-care, I've been still working on DIY in my house, so I ordered some power tools. That was my
Nice.
thing to do for the week. I have a circular saw that I don't know how to use yet. I have a sander, a new drill. So I've been kind of reorganizing things here to kind of make the feel of the house more warm and fuzzy.
Nice.
So what my game plan is, I'm gonna hang some sheetrock downstairs. I'm gonna paint a couple more rooms.
You're gonna have to put up some footage of how to do for the Jawns.
Yes,
For all
Yo,
the Jawns out there
actually,
who might
I
need
made
to
a
hang some
video.
sheetrock.
I hung up some shelves the other day. I forgot to tell y'all that I hung up 2 shelves in my office, and I recorded some footage of it. So I guess let me know if y'all want to see a video, like a short
the
little
next
video.
slide
of
we
how I hung
should
the
share
shelves.
that. The next slide we should share it. Like send it to the producer and we could do like a
Yeah, maybe a short little snippet of how I did it. It was fun. I borrowed my neighbor's drill, and I put anchors into the wall with some shelves and then 2 pieces of wood, and it looks really nice. It looks a lot better. It kind of lifted everything that was on my desk kind of up,
So you
like
can
all
be
my
more
pictures
productive
are
in
on
that
one
space.
shelf. Because I had like all my pictures and stuff on my desk, but I put like all that stuff up top, and then my books are on the second shelf, and then my desk space is nice and clear for just working. So it's really cool.
The next thing I think I'm gonna do to the space is add some plants. I know you have like a botanical garden at your house.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The creative John. I think there's
Shout
some
out to my
plants in
mom
here.
for being a plant mom. That's where I got it from.
Right. She needs to. I need a list of non-toxic, hard to kill plants for the kitchen, living room, virtual schoolhouse meetup, please. Like I think I'm gonna have to.
Plants are really good. They grow fast and they don't take a lot of care and
That's
water.
the second time I heard that one.
Yeah,
So
snake plants are nice to start
I'm
out
gonna
with.
get one of those. And if any of you other Johns out there have any suggestions on plants I can put in the room that aren't gonna kill my cats or my kids, put it there. Hey, Amira.
Hey, Amira, use power
She
tools. I
loves
love
women
women who
who
use
use
power
power
tools.
tools.
Yes.
yes. Thank you for your
Powerful
encouragement.
Johns use power tools.
Yeah.
Good trick.
I realize at this stage of my life, I've entered into a new level of like trust and confidence. Thank you, Amir, for the encouragement.
Yeah.
Because man, listen, the sound of a drill used to freak me out, but it's like it's like I got this. Okay, you got this, sis. You can pick that shelf up. You can cut this plywood. You can screw that screw. Listen,
I felt cool just like flicking the reverse and forward thing on the drill. I was like, I know which side goes in reverse. I got this.
Y'all so silly. But thanks for sharing your stuff. Does that roll us into instant inspo?
Yes, it does. It's our final segment, instant inspo. And
inspo.
before we get into it, Jawns, just know out there, we wanna talk to you. We want to know what you want to see next. Like,
Amira.
let us know what episodes y'all want to see. What do y'all need out there? What do y'all need from women like us? Like, just kind of laying ourselves out there for you. What do y'all need from us? And with this last segment, Instant Inspo, we kind of just want to leave y'all with some inspiration before we go to keep y'all like your vibes high. So
yeah, sometimes it's quotes from great people that we've heard and we want to pass along, or songs or whatever have you.
yeah.
Week 5, who you want to go first, or should I? I'll go. So I came across a quote by Maya Angelou, and it says, "You alone are not enough." I mean, scratch that. Y'all didn't hear that. You alone are, emphasis on the are enough. You have nothing to prove to anybody.
Period.
Period.
Thanks, Amira.
And when I came across that quote this week, I really feel like I wanted to share, especially on this live, because we were talking about, the things that we would tell our younger selves if we could go back and warn us years ahead. But I used to feel, there were times, and sometimes I feel like this period lasted a little too long where I didn't feel like I was enough, and then I did have to prove myself to everyone, when I should have just been trying to figure out what was right for me. So you alone are enough.
Yeah. I feel like that's something that it's like, it takes a while to really hold that in your heart true, that you are enough, because it's like the media, just like the world in general, society in general, always, they profit off of you believing that you're not enough. Yeah, so you look for all this outside stuff to make you feel good, but at the end of the day, you're enough for who you are.
And this is why I said it, because I feel like there had someone else who loved and cared about me, not that people didn't, would have been, like telling me this or reminding me this along the way when I was feeling kind of like lost and didn't know what I was doing, that I probably would have, I feel like, had an easier turnaround. So whoever needs it, you are enough.
Yes,
I like that a lot, especially reflecting on like your younger version of yourself. Because I'm like, my question, I guess, is, since both of you have mentioned like where you felt like you weren't enough, like what was actually going on during that time when you felt like that?
Now that I look back at it, I feel like a lot of the stress or trauma, I feel like a lot of the stress or the heaviness of my life had come after the death of my grandmother. So it's like there was a major shift in how my everyday life ran. I lived with her, and then one day she just wasn't there, and it just, it kind of has a ripple effect. And my mom had to work more to deal with things. My older sister and I are 13 years apart, so even though, we were sisters, at some point we had more of a like, she might not think so, but it was, to me, it seemed like we had more of a mother-daughter relationship, because that's how I felt like it kind of strained our sisterly relationship on top of the age difference. It just, a lot of stuff just felt weird and misplaced, and I felt weird and misplaced. And then I don't know, I feel like everybody was just the adults around me were just so stressed and had to work so much that they didn't really have, I know they loved and cared about me, but they didn't really seem like they had the time. I don't think that they did not care, but had the time to help me figure out what it is that I should have been doing. I feel like I've turned out pretty okay, but I feel like I did a lot of things, and there are a lot of things that I wish I wouldn't have done, or would have had a little more guidance on. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I feel like,
and I put myself, Faz, in a lot of positions, a lot of weird positions, not feeling like I was enough. Not that anybody could do that for me, but I feel like I needed a little more support in the area of
I
self.
feel like myself when I was younger, it was more so, and I still struggle with this as an adult. Sometimes, nowhere near as much as I used to, but I used to be really concerned about what other people thought of me. Like,
yeah, I think kids go through that, but I know what you mean. Like you felt like maybe kind of like overly obsessed with it.
Yeah, like obsessed with it. Like, oh my God, what are they gonna think if I wear this jacket, or if I wear my hair this way, or what if my eyelashes are too fluffed? I don't know. Like, it was just always. I was always worried about I'm always worried about offending somebody. Because I don't necessarily go through the thing not feeling like I'm enough. I feel like I'm too much. Like, I feel like I'm overbearing and like just I always look at, like, when I was younger, I knew when I walked into a room, I filled it up, and that felt really uncomfortable for me for a while. And I feel like in my adulthood, I've become more comfortable with being a loud one and being like really outgoing and present when I walk in. And that's where I got my quote from. But it is, I don't know who this quote is by. It's just a quote that I found, but I really liked it. It says, "Behind every successful woman is herself." So it's like,
That's good.
I feel like in order for you to be successful and get somewhere in life, you have to be comfortable with being who you are. That's the only way. Because people like you when you are who you are. And people recognize real. Like, you can see when someone's being themselves and they're confident in that. And that's kind of what I've been trying to like conquer, is feeling like I'm too much and just being okay with being big. All over, like just being a big person. And yeah, I feel like I'm getting a lot better with it.
Yeah,
but that is something that I dealt with a lot as a kid. Like, I always felt too much, but I'm good with it now.
Deep.
Yep.
How about you, Leek?
My instant inspo of the week, I guess. Trying to figure out how to word it, but I feel like in this stage of my life, using the same topic of reflecting on what I at this age would tell my younger self, I feel like at this stage of my life, looking also from a place where I feel like I was always worried about, one, expectations that others had on me, trying to make my mom proud or trying not to disappoint her,
Right.
or feeling like I had to be my best self. I feel like in reflecting on those things at this age, I'm spending more time looking at my parents and looking at them based off of the age that they were. So I realized that some of the lessons that my mom attempted to teach me, or some of the things that she said that I might have been hurt by, she was saying it from a place of maybe where she herself had been hurt and she was trying to guide me out. So I feel like in this stage of 30, I'm learning how to forgive my parents, and how to see life through their lens and gain the wisdom that they learned. Because right now I'm at the age that I'm older than my parents were when they had me. So it's like I've passed the point of like them actually having children. So I feel like in some ways I've gained wisdom past where they were. It's like they were navigating relationships, parenthood, adulthood,
Right.
and all the other responsibilities, and for a moment it's like I had in some situations judged both of my parents on how they reared me, but I realized at this age it's like they were still trying to figure it out. So I'm learning how to forgive myself through that process and also forgive them, because they're still learning and evolving, and they were also at this age. So forgive your younger self and the younger self of those before you is my.
That's good. That's good.
That's cool.
Instinct.
Yeah, because
I think about it, like, if I had, first of all, if I had me as a child, like 20 something, like, I probably would have been a little stressed out too. So shout out to my mom. Thanks for doing all the stuff you did. I feel you though. It's tough being
she needs you to call her.
My mom wants me to call. I can't call you, Mom, because I'm on my phone.
Right. We'll call you later.
Using my phone to go live, Mom. Yeah.
She's so dope.
But yeah, so I guess that brings us to the end of our lives.
Unless you
No.
guys have questions, our watchers, you guys have questions?
Yeah, if you have questions, I guess we
Any
can
questions?
leave a few minutes for if you have any questions, if you want to type them below.
So maybe we could just ask the producer to put us on a quick break, maybe?
Okay, yeah.
The Lotus Jawns, going through the journey strong. Life's a hustle and a bustle. We'll be with you all along. The Lotus Jawns, yeah, sometimes we get it wrong. That's the beauty and a lesson. Keep it going, you belong. So you are a powerful Jawn. You are a powerful Jawn.
Oh, that was a really quick
All right, we're
commercial break.
back. So, do you Johns have any questions for us? Any questions out there? Mom Johns, friend Johns, powerful
Any
Johns?
Jones? Nope, maybe not. It's okay. We won't cry.
All right, I just
Oh,
have
good.
one question because I know we danced over it. How do you guys feel about this recount that's about to happen? And will you be devastated if our prospective president isn't president?
Honestly,
So
how I feel about it is I don't like either one of them personally to be our president.
yeah, it's
I
kind
think
of a
one
toss-up.
is a little bit out in the open, a lesser of the evils.
Yeah,
But
I feel it's crazy because I kind of feel the same way. I feel like I'm just this one's not that great. Neither is that one, but this one is better than that one, so I'll go with that one.
yeah, but I feel like we're in for it no matter who's running us. It's just going to be in different ways. And I know Biden, he does seem like the better option on the surface, but I honestly don't like the way Biden and Kamala have chosen to do things as far as the prison system and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like how they voted and like done things over the years. I think that they haven't shown that much love to people of color when it comes to that type of stuff. And I find it really odd that they have been focusing on getting people of color's votes for this election. It was crazy how all the gospel commercials, all the commercials geared towards Black people, that came out of nowhere.
In the barbershop.
Out of nowhere.
They really,
like,
they
dude,
really,
y'all been locking up Black people for years. Y'all been
they
locking
really
them up,
pull
them
pieces
in
of our
jail,
culture
doing
up,
modern.
threw it across their message. It was like, yep, got him. I get you.
Now,
All right,
can y'all see me or hear me?
Yeah. We
can see you and hear you.
I feel like y'all have been.
We can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Click that button again.
Click it again. We can't hear you.
Nope. Oh no, creative John down.
Oh,
poor baby. Take a deep breath. She's gonna log again. It's cool. How you feel? How you feeling about the recount?
So, I think it's really interesting because there's been several articles and news broadcasts on different platforms that have said that there's been some voter fraud and that there was some coercion happening at different polling places, encouraging people to vote straight Democrat. Trump has said that they cheated. And I mean, just based off of some things that have come out in the media, it looks like I'm not for either candidate, to be honest, based off of just both of their history to a degree. Looking at it from a individual political standpoint is like I'm a firearm owner, and I know that Biden and Kamala's policies are geared towards removing firearms from our community and our demographic. And I feel like one, they're taking firearms from people who are responsible. It's like I went, I filled out the appropriate paperwork. I purchased my firearm and I use it to protect myself and those who I love. Anybody that's out there potentially doing harm to people isn't going through those steps, So, and we still can't hear you, Faust. I can read your lips though, boo, but we still can't hear you. But I know that looking at it from that standpoint, like the bad guys aren't necessarily going through the proper channels to own a gun. And the legislation that they're pushing has the potential to impact me as a safe and responsible firearms owner. And I've worked in the prison system. I've worked in some pretty sketchy environments.
And we live where we live.
And yes, we live where we live. It's like my first encounter with a firearm was my mother got stuck up when I was in kindergarten, and the person who was trying to rob her put a gun at my baby sister's head. And I think about that situation, and it's like, my uncle, who was a retired police officer, is the one that actually ran out of the house, the house that I'm currently in, and was like, hey, where's the bad guy? But I'm like, both sides of that scenario could have played out differently, but I know for my uncle, who was a retired police officer and a responsible firearms owner, if he had no means to pretty much combat that situation, it could have went differently, so there was a bad guy that had a gun that didn't go through the proper channels, and there was a good guy that had a gun that went through the proper channels. Legislation that they're potentially pushing is geared towards them labeling our community as a whole as bad guys, that the inner city doesn't need guns, and I feel like to a degree that's unfair, because if I wanted to go out and hunt in the suburbs, with my rifle, I should be able to. Just because I live in the city shouldn't stop me from owning a firearm in the same way that somebody who lives in, the outskirts of the state. So I also, from working as a nurse in a prison environment, I do also have, my feelings towards their views on criminal justice, because I do feel like if you've done a crime, that whole the whole mandatory minimum, I feel like that needs to be gotten rid of. The idea that they've criminalized a lot of things that in a way that actually pushes our demographic into the prison system. I feel like those who have served their time for a crime, as soon as you've gotten out of jail, you've finished your parole, whatever, you should be able to, be healed and welcome back into the community. Because it's really hard for a person that's done time to come out and become a productive member of society if there's all these loopholes for them to be able to do so. So some of their policies I wholeheartedly don't agree with. So it's a catch-22 from both sides. I just hope that, as whoever wins, that they're open to be able to hear what our communities have to say as far as we're creating policy within the Senate and Congress, etc.
That's what we can hope for. I guess we'll know more after the recount is done.
Yeah, because right now the country's pretty fired up, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of enjoying that part. The people who are going out into the streets in droves and saying we don't agree. Like, there's been a lot of cases that have been reopened just because people are angry, and it's shining a pretty large light on.
Hey, Creative John.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes.
Sure can.
I don't know what happened. I have no idea. I was talking too much shit on fucking Biden and Trump, so it cut me out. It was the government, y'all.
Oh,
Someone else.
Welcome back, John.
Thank you.
I feel like you're just in time for us to close out.
Oh. Okay.
Unless
Oh,
I'm
you have,
sorry that happened to
or
you.
unless there's any questions, but I'm glad that you're back and I can hear you. I miss you.
Yeah, me too. Do y'all Johns out there did anybody ask us questions while I was gone?
No.
Any questions? Any questions, Johns?
Johns out there?
Maybe they're just not. Maybe all of the Johns watching, all of them, just aren't in a questioning mood tonight. It's okay. We'll be around.
Dinner.
I'll be watching you. All right. Well, since we don't have any questions, feel free to comment below, even after this video, if you're watching this at a later time.
Yep.
We do this every other Thursday.
Thursday. Yep.
And we release our recorded videos every other Wednesday. So Wednesday and Thursdays are your Lotus Jawns days. So make sure you tune in, comment, subscribe, share our stuff. We're 3 powerful Jawns trying to share our love and our wisdom to other powerful Jawns out there. So in a Lotus Jawn fashion, we like to close out with an affirmation. So I hope you all got a lot out of our episode today. So let's take one big cleansing breath.
Oh, you're welcome, Lonnie.
Thank you. All right, so let's breathe in.
My journey to adulthood has been paved with lessons.
My every scar holds beauty and growth.
I am evolving towards my perfected self.
I
am a powerful
Jawn. Peace.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.